So kudos to Warner Bros. I mean, because they, for the only ones who realize that clowns are must-see cinema, we got two of the biggest, most anticipated movie releases of the year, virtually a month apart, with It Chapter 2 and Joker coming up. And after seeing this one, I really hope Joker can deliver more than what I got here. And with that, I'm welcome to another episode of The Road Mentor. My goal, as always, is to enhance the movie watching experience. So It Chapter 2, this one I was super excited about. I'm a huge fan of the first one. I thought that was a home run for Warner Bros. And Andy Muschietti, who directed that, who's back to direct this one. There's a movie which I thought it transcended the horror genre, but not only giving us a good horror movie, but just overall a great movie here. So I obviously had a lot of high expectations in regards to this particular film. And overall, I'll say this because I'm going to say some things here that are going to maybe brag on the movie a little bit or talk about some things that will kind of let me down about it. But overall, I'll say this is not a bad movie. I liked it. It was a good film. It's just unfortunately had the daunting task of following up such a great, obviously, first part. And there's a lot to live up there, and I couldn't really meet those expectations for various reasons. I did like the movie. I thought it was a solid film, but unfortunately, there's a lot of problems with it that prevented it from really being a great film. So let me start with what I really liked about this film. Because again, this is a good movie. It's a solid film. It's just not a great one, and definitely a disappointment in terms of what I was expecting. And I don't make it seem that this is bad. You guys shouldn't go watch it. You should watch it. It's good. On the positive sides, the cast is great. I think they did a great job of casting the young kids into the adult versions of them. Jessica Chastain, McAvoy, of course, those talents are well documented. The kid who played Eddie in the adult version, I thought he was great. He did a great job of creating those same mannerisms that the kid had. But the big standout was Bill Hader. He's been on a roll lately, of course. I'm a huge fan of his show Barry on HBO. You guys should definitely watch that if you haven't done so already. He was great. I think he upstaged everyone. He has great comedic chops, obviously, but he has some of the best dramatic moments, particularly towards the end of the film. And he's just a big ball of energy. And when he was on screen, and you can really tell he just stood out amongst everyone else, including those as talented as McAvoy and Chastain themselves. Now, I thought Muschietti's direction is well done. There's a lot of great scenes in there, some good scares, and they did some things differently. They gave more disturbing imagery, something a little bit different this time around. They're giving us some of the same typical stuff we saw in the first film. And even when Pennywise, who I wish they would have had given more on screen time with, he was good as well. Of course, he's great. Skarsgård does such a good job portraying that character. He's very creepy and almost disturbing, but yet kind of funny at the same time. I love him, and I just wish there was more of him here. Unfortunately, this movie has a lot of issues, and the main thing is two main things. Number one, again, it's hard to live up to the strength of the first movie. I mean, the first movie was so great, and it had that charm because of the kids that were involved. It had almost this coming of age, Spielberg-esque kind of vibe to it, and it's lacking here. Although there are scenes with the kids here, do a lot of flashbacks, and it's cool how they give us some scenes of things that occur after the events of the first film, and those are great. And when you see those, man, it kind of reminds you, it takes you back to what made the first one so special. And it just, there's not enough of it, of course, because now the kids are adults and that's what they're trying to focus on, which I get. So we miss that charm, we miss that something extra that the film kind of lacks. But beyond that, the length is too long. This movie is clocked in about 2 hours and 45 minutes, probably 2:40 before the credits, more or less. And you feel it, you really feel it, particularly in the end. They stretch it out too much. And I felt this movie at 2:15 would have been just perfect, 30 minutes off, because it's a lot. It's a very ambitious film. And I'm not familiar with the source material, never read the book, but I understand he tried to pull out things from the book in this particular film. And I thought that kind of weighted it down too much. And I appreciate the ambition, but a lot of things just gets lost in the shuffle. And these adults are doing this and they have to go do that in order to defeat, it. Pennywise have to figure all these things out. And it just kind of just seemed drawn out and over long. And by the time you get to the end, it was cool and it looked good, but you're like, man, God, after 2 hours and 20 minutes, you got another 20 minutes left, and the ending just kind of took forever. I liked how it wrapped up after it was all said and done. Really came together very well. And a little bit of emotional punch to it, and that's fine. But it just took a while to get there. And it's a shame because they try to do too much with the film. And because of that, this movie is just not as scary because it has some cool scenes and the scary scenes, but they're so far and few in between because the movie is just chewing up so much and it's giving you too much. And I just wish they probably would have rethought that, giving us a more streamlined version of this movie. I thought there's a really great movie in there, but because of those issues, it kind of prevents it from reaching those heights. Overall, it's still good. I enjoyed it. I really did. And it's actually a funny thing. This is non spoiler here. So the scene in the beginning, the first scene that you get is kind of a waste. And I thought they didn't never really circle back to it. Why they even took that approach with it. It seemed relevant to the times today, but there was no follow-up to it. It could have been a much easier, simple way to reintroduce Pennywise into the movie. And it seems like they could have taken opportunity to explore that more with Bill Hader's character. And I don't want to say much more than that. And I thought they didn't do that. You infer a few things about who he really is, but it's not explored. And that's such a huge missed opportunity. Instead, we get overlong, drawn-out sequences. We get a couple of characters that probably could just been removed from the movie, particularly the kid with, I forget his name, with the mohawk, who was, killed his father, whatever. He could have been completely taken out of the movie. It would have flowed a lot better, and the pacing would have lent itself to being a lot more, more energetic, and allow those scares to really sink in more often than what they do. So, unfortunately, because of that, I'm still recommending the film. You're a fan of the first It, definitely need to watch it. It's a good conclusion to it. It's still well done. It's just not nearly as good as the first, and it has some issues there, which for myself really brought it down a few notches and making this overall a disappointment, just because I was expecting so much. And I think most of you guys will feel the same way. But again, it's fine. It's not a bad film. It's got a lot of good stuff, good moments in there. Again, Ben Hur is great. There's good direction in there as well. It just needs to, I wish it just would have been about 30, 35 minutes shorter, a little bit tighter. I think it would have been a much, much more enjoyable film. So overall, I still recommend it. If you guys are fans of it, go watch it. And of course, if you do, comment below, let me know what you guys thought. And of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe below and feed money to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. See you guys next time.